Welcome back, everybody, to Around the Arena, the Finals Central's official finals podcast. I'm Sam, joined by Cody, and welcome back
Yo,
to season 3. I know it's been a minute since we've done an episode of Around the Arena, and that's because we've had, so much going on. Like, there's not even enough to really say. We had the major. I actually bought a house and I moved. We had the holidays. We had PHL. There is so much that we have done recently, and we are sorry that we've been a little bit lax on the pod here, but we are very happy to be back. Cody, how we feeling, man?
I am feeling honestly just incredible. I mean, we haven't talked about it too much on the pod, but we went to Sweden. We hosted a pub crawl. We met some incredible people. We watched the Grand Major, and now we're in the new year with a bunch more stuff to come, right? I mean, me and you are pursuing casting. I've already started with a couple events. You have as well.
Yeah.
We got a couple more. This is coming out tomorrow, so we'll be casting a couple events this weekend, so stay tuned. It's just been crazy, Sam. It really hasn't even been a year yet. That's the crazy part. We haven't been doing this for a year yet.
No, absolutely. That is actually the most insane part is I think we've had the TFC channel now for like 8 months, maybe 9. We might be in the 9th month finally. Breakout, thank you so much for the raid. By the way, we were just getting things started, so you guys have not missed anything but W raid.
Holy raid.
Everybody, welcome in. If you're not familiar with us, we are the Finals Central. We do a lot here in the Finals esports community. We just wrapped up our watch party of the Breakout show match, which we'll talk about here on the show in just a little bit.
Holy
but this
raid.
is a live recording of Around the Arena. So for this recording, because we are putting this on Spotify, we're also putting this onto YouTube. We're not going to be looking at chat as much as we normally do for a lot of our streams, so we appreciate it. But if you have topics that you want to talk about after the fact, once we're done recording, we're going to hit all those. We'll be hanging out with you guys in chat, so stick around, because today's episode, we are talking about a lot of incredible things, the number one being Rostermania. We just saw a glimpse of it from Breakout. It was insane. We're going to break down some of the matches that we just watched as well here on the show. And there's so much out there. I mean, it took us a couple hours, I think, to comprise the list that we have, which I'll post in our Discord following the show. If you're not in there, join up, !Discord if you're watching here on the stream. If you're listening on Spotify, the link will be in the episode, as well as on YouTube. It'll be in the description as well. Get in there, check out the esports channel. That is where this list is going to be. It's going to be ever updating as teams are signing to more orgs. We had some this week that announced it and things like that. So welcome in, everybody, once again. And let's get this show on the road. So, Cody, we were just talking about how we haven't done an episode in a minute, and that's because we've had so much going on. We had pretty much the major. We had PHL season 2. We had a bunch of stuff. So, just run us down real quick, man. Like, what's been going on with you?
Oh man, it has been a pretty crazy experience. A lot of family, a lot of, holidays, all that sort of good stuff, right? But outside of that, talking about the finals, we've been playing a lot of ranked. I've been pursuing casting. We talked about it a little bit in the intro, which has been incredibly exciting. And I just want to say, shout out to some of the amazing people that I've met that have influenced me to, take this route and inspired me. Waltz, Artie, Jerry, Rio. I mean, Tetra, like there's so many people that I can think of, and I'm probably missing some people in their chat, but I'm not forgetting you, I promise. There's a million people, and I am just so appreciative of the community and everyone. They are so friendly and so nice, and they are always inspiring me to be the best I can be. And I'm just excited for the new year. I really am.
Yeah, likewise. And again, a massive shout out to all the people, like you mentioned, the PHL crew, Ape Squad. I mean, the major was that moment for me that finally, you get so used to looking at like Twitch numbers and YouTube numbers, and you're making content and you get kind of wrapped up in that, and you don't really realize how many people are actually like watching your things or that you're interacting with and like, helping try to grow the esports scene. We had a lot of people come up and actually like kind of thank us, I guess, for like what we've done, which, in hindsight, I guess we have done a lot, but we've just kind of been doing what we love. And it's really cool to like see all that come together. The major, of course, incredible. We released a recap video in case you missed the major. That's out there. Young also put out an amazing video that I would highly recommend watching if you need something long form. It's almost 3 hours long, and I mean, it breaks it down perfectly, and also just talks about his experience as well. So I would check that out. Um, and so yeah, I mean, we got back from the major, and we have been hungrier than ever for 2026. We just want to do more. We were already doing a lot, but we sat down. We had like an entire business meeting basically to talk about like what is TFC's plans for 2026? What went well? What could have gone better? And what do we want to do this coming year? And honestly, the biggest one we landed on is just continue to grow the scene. That includes doing tournament organization, hosting community tournaments, casting, which is something, you know, that we didn't realize we really wanted to do until Waltz and Burrito got us into PHL for the B streams. And I mean, yeah, Cody's been locking in on casting. I'm trying to as much as I can with being a new homeowner and all, but you know, we're locking in for 2026. And that's the goal. Just continue to grow the finals esports into what we believe it deserves. It's incredible. I think after the major, a lot of people saw what it could be. So, you know, there's a lot of leagues re-entering the scene like Breakout. There's also Heist games spinning up here. We have PHL Season 3 on their horizon. There is so much to do. And with that, the pod is back. It's a weekly episode. With 2026, we've also made the goal of streaming more. Personally, myself, I stream here on TFC Sam, or TFC underscore Sam, I guess I should say, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Cody is a little more ad hoc, but I think he's got a schedule as well, right, Cody?
Yeah, we're working on it. You know, work is crazy, having a job and then also trying to do this. But I'm gonna try to follow Sam's schedule just an hour later.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's
I
pretty
do have the
close.
luxury of working from home, so I am able to kind of, and I'm also East Coast, so you know I can do my life things that need to get done after work, and then hop on and start streaming and hanging out with the community and things like that. But with that, we're holding ourselves accountable to finally give you this pod the consistency that we've always felt it deserved, but we just didn't have the time to do. So
And
right
maybe some
now,
guests in the future.
and some guests.
Cool
We're
guests.
finally going to have guests because we finally have this like actually scheduled. So as of right now, the schedule is Thursdays. So expect this episode to be live if you're watching it on Twitch right now. Expect this to be the case on Thursdays, and then we'll jump into gameplay or ranked or doing whatever we're going to do following it. So stay on the channel. Got a lot going on afterwards, especially if esports things are going on. But we're finally getting consistent with the pod. All right, let's get into the episode because we got a lot to talk about. And the first thing we're going to talk about is what everybody's waiting for, and that is Rostermania. 2026 is starting off hot and spicy as we imagined. We knew coming into the major, really, and out of it especially, that there was going to be a crazy amount of Rostermania. Honestly, since the end of PHL Season 2, we already kind of started to see that. We saw some teams starting to break apart, play with different players, things like that. And if you're not familiar with esports or the finals esports is your first introduction to esports, Rostermania is a very normal thing, right? Like in esports, a lot of times it happens mid-season. Granted, PHL and things like that, especially the major, you were kind of locked to your roster. Like if you made it through open qual, you were stuck, I think, with your roster, or you can maybe have one or two subs. But especially after closed quals, you were locked in. That's your squad. And there was time between closed quals and the major, right? So if you had differences, you kind of had to just deal with them through the whole tournament. And so yeah, but the 2026 season is kicking off with a bang, and we are going to break down everything in terms of players that were signed with orgs. That's what we're covering today, okay? And we're covering at least the information that is available, but also the unknowns that we know of. We don't have any insider info, okay? So this won't be that. But we've just centralized all of the roster. Man, we've been keeping tabs since it's been going on, and we're going to talk about it here today, Cody. So, ready?
I think I'm ready.
All right.
Okay, it's been a wild, first month. There's a lot of information. May I start?
Go ahead. Take us away.
I think I'm going to start. Okay. Let's start with the two big ones that everybody is probably knows about or has seen or maybe hasn't seen, but these are the ones that are very interesting, okay? Nightmare and SSG have had a little bit of a switcheroo is what I'd like to call it. I think that's valid, right, Sam?
Yeah, that's pretty valid.
So Uni and Gremlin have parted ways with Lasagna and have moved to play with Not Bubba. If you don't know who Not Bubba is, played with Belize a lot in season 2 of PHL. I think it was Diminish.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Okay. Yep. There's going to be a lot of names, so we might mess some stuff up. But they are now playing together. They are a confirmed stack. I think that team is going to be insane. Now, Laz has stayed on Nightmare. And Hogs, Grad, and Lamp are now the new Nightmare.
Yeah. Hogs with a quote.
Yes. Well,
we
I actually did see that Lamp did call
okay.
Hogs their coach, but I don't know if they're a Nightmare coach. They are just a coach.
Yeah. So Hogs has been, at least in all the scrims that I've watched of this roster, Hogs has been in pretty much every single game and seems to be the only spectator for most of them. So with that, I think we can safely say that Hogs is the coach of this squad, which he was the coach of SSG last year. And I think it's safe to say that he's continuing on with Lamp and Grad and picking up Laz. But however, Nightmare, I don't think have made an official announcement of Hogs joining the roster. So like Cody said, he may not be officially the Nightmare coach, but it seems to be coaching the team. So there you go.
Right. Okay. Now let's move on to EU a little bit, because this is kind of another major team. Alliance. And this is in a little bit of a weird spot, but Carnifex and Treason have split away from Palma, and they have been signed to 5 Fears.
Yep.
Palma, we have no clue. We don't know if they are staying on Alliance, because there has been a kind of a weird situation where they haven't announced that Palma's gone.
Yep.
But they also haven't announced that Palma's staying, so we're going to say that's just mute right now. Carnifex, Treason on 5 Fears. To join that stack is Naghost, or NA Ghost.
Yep.
That is also going to be an absolutely insane stack. Ricardo, News, and Hani, also kind of a weird spot. That is the original 5 Fears stack. Ricardo is unknown. Hani is unknown. How do you say it? News? Is it News?
I think it's
How
News.
Do you say that?
Yeah, News.
News, okay. Is teaming with Apollo and Visions, which is also going to be a pretty wild stack.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, I'm going to let you take it over from here.
Yeah. So this 5 Fears roster is, pretty much a similar situation to, I guess, Nightmare, right? Carney and Treason moving on to 5 Fears. Naghost coming in from Fnatic over to 5 Fears. I think Naghost is playing heavy, if I'm not mistaken, and Treason's staying on medium. Carney is, of course, playing light. The 5 Fears squad before them, like you said, Ricardo, Noose, and Hani, they were actually the North American team that 5 Fears picked up. 5 Fears, if you remember, had an EU team during close quals that did not make it through, and then they picked up this roster kind of last minute. And from word around the block, take that as you will, is that 5 Fears are very committed to having a top team, something that you could qualify on paper as a top team. I
think they've done it.
I think they've definitely done it in EU. I think this is a very stacked team. I was in Lamp's stream watching, and he had mentioned that I think some of the SSG crew were, I don't know if the whole team at the time or what, were meeting with 5 Fears, but I guess that didn't work out. There's stuff behind the scenes that we don't know anything about, nor do we really want to know, with like contracts and things like that. But 5 Fears have definitely locked down a roster here that is going to show out in Europe. So moving on, though, we did mention again, Naghost is leaving Fnatic, and there's 2 unknowns here, and that's Nigiri and Ramka. Both of these players, like Cody mentioned earlier, there's actually a lot of players that still show branding for their org. There hasn't been a really announcement yet or anything like that, and that continues, I think, to be the case for Fnatic, unless something has changed in the last day or two since we've comprised this list. So right now, I guess we have to assume that Nigiri and Ramka are staying with Fnatic. There's a chance that they're not with the org, that the contract expired. We don't have that information here for you, but expect that to be public sooner rather than later, especially, again, as we're really ramping up the 2026 season. Moving on, though, TSM did release their entire roster. Apollo and Visions we just mentioned about are teaming with Noose from 5 years. This information is accurate as of January 7th, 2026. Today is the 15th of January. Arco has apparently signed a contract, but we're not sure with who just yet. So overall, yeah, that's the squad there. And we just actually watched them play with Jalen Mans, and I forget who the last squad. We literally just watched this. Who was it?
Arco, Brendy, and Jalen Mans.
Thank you. Yeah, Brendy. Yeah, Brendy. So Brendy, Jalen Mans, and Arco are teamed together. It sounds like they're signed to an org of some sort. We don't know who. But keep in mind that information should be out sooner rather than later. Speaking of Brendy, let's move on to the Pioneers, who again have released their entire roster, which consisted of Brendy, Spawns, and Llama, all players looking for org at this time. Brendy, I have the note right here, of course. Brendy, as of December 29th, 2025, confirmed on Twitter that they are teaming with Arco and Jalen Mans. We just watched them in the breakout show match literally just before this podcast episode is being filmed. They looked pretty solid, in all honesty. Brendy was looking great on repeater. And so, this squad, I'm very curious to see how it works out. There's some, not necessarily newer names, I feel like, to the pro scene. That's probably not the right way to say it, but like Arco comes from TSM, who, were split gate players before. Brendy's been in the scene for a while, obviously with KCP, and the Jalen Mans, I don't feel like was in PHL season 2. I could be mistaken, but I don't think so. I don't think he was on a team.
I don't think so.
So on the flip side, though, again, we have two players sticking together, and that's Spawns and Llama, both teaming with Cafaneo, which I believe also was on Diminish with Belize, if I'm not mistaken, in PHL Season 2. And this information was shared on Twitter on December 19th, 2025, as the team announced that they are looking for org. So they do not have org representation yet. They are still looking for it, at least to our knowledge, and we'll, update you once that information has been confirmed. You want to take us away on the next one, Cody?
Yes, my favorite team, Rootin'.
Yep.
FYR Strays, comprised of Slothy, Varian, and T-Mails. Now, this team had a little bit of a rumor. There was a rumor that one of them got a contract that they could not, they couldn't turn down. And we thought that team was breaking up. And I am incredibly excited to say that they are staying together. And we watched this team play during breakout, and they were playing incredibly. They were on heavy medium, which we'll talk about later in the pod. It's a little bit of a different team comp, but yeah, they are staying together. Not FYR anymore. They're under a different name because the org deal has ended. But I'm very excited. And moving into that is Envy, which has weirdly enough dropped STN for we don't know yet, right? Do we, or do we know?
So the Envy squad has been confirmed as of yesterday, and I realized I didn't update the list because this was like late last night. I think it was live when this happened. But the Envy squad is now Uni, Gremlin, not Bubba. So they left Nightmare and have gone to Envy, and that team that team looks crazy.
That team is going to be
team's going to be crazy.
So the original Envy team, though, STN is now playing with Udra County and Juker.
Yes.
And then Stujay and Busy are playing with
we just watched it again.
Yeah, we just watched it.
My gosh. I'm blanking on it. I got to pull it up. Hang on. Yeah. Anyways.
It's okay. Well, we just watched it. There was a lot of information. Weirdly enough, though, why Sam's figuring that out, Vanguard Gaming has...
Sorry. They're playing with Noah.
Okay, so Noah, Stujay, and Busy are now that team, which is also going to be a pretty interesting team. And I'm excited to see that team continue. We haven't seen Busy. Unfortunately, they were subbed out for Belize.
Yeah.
For Breakout, but that is a stack, and it... Belize played really good. But anyways, so Vanguard has 3 teams, which is a little interesting because we have heard some things around because Pulsar came out and made a public statement that they were not going to continue having 2 teams. If you're not familiar, they had Pulsar White, which was a EU team, and Pulsar Blue, which was a NA team. They have now said we will only have 1 team. because of major restrictions or the way the major works. But weirdly
Yeah.
enough, Vanguard has not said this. I'm wondering if maybe they are considering it like a challengers type team, and they'll only have one team that really pushes. I don't know. But Vanguard has 3 teams currently. They have Vanguard Gold, which was Drax,
Yep.
Arpika, and Executor.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vanguard Black, shout out Sugi, Norton, and Nova. And then an NA team, so those are 2 EU teams. And then an NA team, which is Ego, Arrogant, and Regency.
Yep. Yeah, Regency. I think.
Yeah, so those are those teams, which are interesting. Moving on to Pulsar. Pulsar White, which originally consisted of Atelco, Persian, and Lasky. Unfortunately, didn't make it to the major, didn't qualify. We're not too sure what's going on with Atelco or Lasky, but Persian has moved on to team with Robinski and Donk Rage as of January 15th this year.
Which is today.
Pulsar, yeah, literally today. Pulsar Blue also kind of in a weird spot. We've talked about it before. Some, players are showing that they're still, a part of a team. Boo Boo left the org, but Brutal Logic and Sparrow are unknown. Haven't heard too much.
Yeah.
Closing it out with a couple more teams, but Gen G, it was originally Pokolem, Taiku Joe, and Nolix. I don't think we have any confirmation on what this org or team players are doing. We do have a official statement from Ape Squad for the Emerald Apes team. And they said, directly quoted from Justin himself, Emerald Apes contract expired just like everyone else's in the scene. We have a great relationship with them and Coach Mauser and are happy to see them all continue their journey and expand their opportunities and horizons. They were our first ever team and we will always support them. They believed in us first before anyone else did. Yep. So with that, Ape Squad is also to be determined. Lastly, I think we only have one more team, Sam, which is Team Secret, which we do not have any update. I don't think we've seen Elix, Romer, or OG play with anyone in particular or make any sort of comments or statements. Yeah. And we have not really heard from Team Secret as well. Yeah. So to be fair, team did play second at the major. If I was Team Secret, I would probably want to keep the team. I mean, Roma, Elix, OG are all incredible players. So it's kind of a good stack. Who knows?
They're definitely, I mean, as well, like Team Secret is technically like the top EU team on paper, right? Like you said, second place in the major, first EU team. I think they finished first for EU in PHL Season 2, but I'd have to go back and check that. That might be incorrect.
Team Secret?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Team Secret or Alliance.
No, it was Alliance.
It was Alliance, right? Okay. So,
Alliance.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, very strong team. I'm not really surprised if they stay together. It is interesting that we haven't seen any roster releases. And like to also clarify, this information is pretty much comprised of like people on like the players themselves on Twitter or the orgs themselves saying that they have released players. So there are some players here that just aren't active and their org is also not really active in the finals, to be honest with you, which is why like some of this information could be incorrect. For example, like Brutal Logic and Sparrow, they show Pulsar branding, but like they just might not have updated their stuff because they don't go on Twitter. The same is true with like, I don't know, the Fnatic guys. But however, Nagiri is pretty active on Twitter from what I've seen. So I feel like that's kind of not the case.
Yep.
I feel like they're, at least for right now, with Fnatic, maybe the contract hasn't expired yet, but I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, that is
so. Yeah, it's Rostermania.
That is all of the rosters that we have so far from at least the orgs that we know of. There's obviously more, like I'm sure, like Task Managers from PHL Season 2, I'm sure is a different team at this point. Like there's a ton of other teams that we're going to see enter the competitive season for 2026, but these are the ones that like either were signed with an org or were a major team, which if they made it to the major, they were signed with an org. So I guess that counts. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, anyways, again, this pod is now a weekly thing. As this continues to develop, we will bring this updates to you here on the pod. And again, a lot of this information is actually also being updated almost in real time, kind of crazily, in our Discord, especially in the esports channel. Jay the Man.
We get active in there.
Yeah, shout out Jay the Man and shout out Cringy. Honestly, Cringy PLR. they're on top of it. I don't know how they stay on top of it. I feel
I
like
remember the one time I beat Cringy one time,
Yeah.
and I was so pumped.
I'm like I doom scroll Twitter almost all day just because I get bored, and I do not know how they stay on top of it more than I do. It's actually insane. So, to be honest with you, if you're looking for a place to find out this kind of information super quick, man, turn on notice for that channel, and you can mute everything else if you want. I don't really care, but that channel in specific, they're on it. So shout out them.
Keep up, yeah.
Cool.
Well, so Sam, we brought it up a little bit, but this podcast took place after an event.
Yeah.
That is, in my opinion, pretty, big. Breakout is back. They have confirmed it that there is going to be season 1 of Breakout this year for 2026. But with that, they also wanted to show what they're capable of, and did a kind of Battle of Titans sort of event with 4 top NA teams. Some of the ones we mentioned being Nightmare. I'm not too familiar on the team names again, but there was a lot of names in there such as Normalize, Stu J.
Yeah, I've got the teams pulled up here if you want. So
you're good. Yeah, if you want to read them off, go for it.
So we saw 4 teams. It was a show match. They played 3 cash outs and 2 final rounds. Essentially, they were earning points, kind of like old school PHL. They were earning points throughout the cash outs based on placements and kill participation. And then based on that, the top 2 played in the grand final, which was a best of 1 final round match. And 3rd and 4th played each other as well in a best of 1 final round. So that's 4 teams were Tall, Dark, and Handsome, or TDH, consisting of Stooge, Normalize, or Noah, and Busy. However, Belize subbed in for Busy. And I'll tell you what, Belize, I will say it, Belize looked the best he's looked since I've followed the finals esports. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that guy was playing
That
crazy.
guy was insane. He played great. And I don't know if it's the people around him or he just has been hitting the lab. I don't know what was up with him, but that guy was playing great. I mean, I loved it out of him. So yeah, Jaggers, which was the previous Fire Stray squad of Slothy, T-Mill, Zavarian, the new Nightmare squad of Lamp, Laz, and Grad, and then finally Jab, which is the Brindy, Arco, and Jalen Mann squad. Those were your 4 teams that we witnessed today. All of them had moments that looked really good. Some of them a little more consistent than others. Not really a surprise, to be honest. Like, most of these squads are pretty new, with the exception of the Fire Stray squad, who also won PHL Season 2. And they looked good. I think they took the whole thing home, right? Like, didn't they finish first in their best of 1 at the end? I think. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they took it home. They look great. So, Slothy, T-Mills variant, looking awesome as well. But Cody, what were some of your thoughts, from watching that? It's our first taste of 2026. So obviously a massive meta change, which is controversial. So what are your thoughts?
I just wanted to touch on Breakout's production was so incredible, and they brought some things to the table that I was really excited to see. One thing that we were talking about in the stream was the cash out timer right under the match timer was such a cool addition. It's so subtle, you wouldn't even really notice it unless you're looking for it, but it helps make it easier to kind of pay attention to what's going on with the cash out timer, because you're constantly switching angles and views and POVs, and it's here's the UI, and it's all over. So having just a centralized point where hey, this is counting down is so great to have. And I think, there's a lot of really cool production ideas they did. But with that, also cool things that's going on is the supposed meta. And there's a conversation that's going on, which is double heavy medium, which we haven't seen in a while. It was even banned in some situations because, in my personal opinion, I do think that it's important that every class in the game has a place and a chance to shine. And I do think double of one class kind of hurts that. But I think there's a conversation, and it's not a total meta, right? We saw that light, medium, and heavy can prevail against double heavy. And I want to bring something to the table for you, Sam, and I want to see if you agree with me that I think double heavy medium is the strat in final round. You need to be a quick concise team. You need to play together, because the moment you have control of the box and a powerful position, having that double heavy is almost like just unstoppable. You can't push them. It's so hard. And if you don't have another heavy to match that, it's genuinely impossible. So I think final round is where we will see double heavy prevail and continue to develop. Cash out, though, is the mode of chaos. And with chaos comes that you can run anything. Anything goes in cash out. So I think light, medium, heavy, having all those tools is a lot more important than having a double up on some. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree to an extent. I think, for the people listening, these are the top of the top. I mean, players, like,
Right.
we're watching major winners, or we're watching, runner ups, things like that. And, we were talking about in the watch party, because we did watch party this event, um, that, is it a good idea, like, to get a light, to bring a light onto your team? For example, like, I don't know, Grad. Like, let's use Grad as an example, right? We brought Grad over, but then we stuck him on heavy. Is that the right play from, like, a team composition perspective? Or do you just want to bring somebody who's naturally a heavy player as well, and just double up that way if you're going to run HHM? Um, to Young was in the call, I think, with us at that point. He did say, players at this level can kind of do it all, which is very fair. And I agree. I think we saw a lot of brilliance there. That I want to say SSG squad, and that's not what they are anymore. The Nightmare squad. We saw Lamp on Mesh SA12. And then we saw Grad on Winch BFR. And that combo, they were playing the final round matches were held on Fongway City, and that combo was just disgusting. Like, how do you push it? Like, that was what Cody was saying when we were watching it. He's like, there's not enough glitches. There's not enough ways to, like, get in there. And they were also playing against an HML team. And, on the counterpoint, it could be like, okay, well, Light has one glitch. What if you have the medium run glitch mine? It's like, well, what do you swap for it? Because the beauty of running double heavy in that situation, right, is you can sacrifice Goo Grenade, which is something that pretty much medium's been solved in terms of the loadout, right? But with the exception of maybe the weapon, which has been repeated for a while now, but that argument can be had. But in terms of the gadgets themselves, right, it's Goo, pad, defib. Like, that's what you're going to see every medium running. But if you have double heavy, who's providing you extra cover somehow, whether that's an additional dome, mesh shield, or a barricade, or whatever, like, yeah, the medium finally has some breathing room to give up the Goo Grenade finally. And that opens up a ton of opportunity for the medium. I mean, it's a medium, somebody's wound up somehow back on medium. I'm not really sure how that happened, but here we are. I like the fact that I can not run Goo Grenade and instead run, like, Glitch Mine or APS, for example. We saw APS today, and it makes a lot of sense. It blocks, like, what, 4 projectiles? That's 2 RPGs, a Glitch Grenade, and maybe a Dome Shield. EK was in our chat, and he was like, yeah, the dome falls on it, it actually blocks it. Like, that's crazy. That's a lot of value out of that gadget. But the problem is, originally, mediums kind of needed to run Goo for steal opportunity, for getting themselves away, for stall. But with double heavy, you kind of don't need it anymore. You can run a lot more util to support your team even more. That does kind of put medium further into support yet again, which I know a lot of people have their opinions about. But I think it's interesting. I think it opens the conversation for a lot of interesting metas. But like you said, Cody, I do think in cash out as well, it's the Wild West, man. I mean, who knows? I think it just comes down to who is better at the comp they're trying to run. So if you're running like HHM,
Right.
but you have a light player that maybe isn't the strongest heavy in the world, like, it might be better to have them on light in the cash out games, and vice versa. If they're better on heavy than they were on light, then HHM might work for you. Um, I think it's a total toss up in the cash out game right now, just because there's so much more going on. But in final round, where you do have to basically push an entire fortress, HHM, man, looks gross, looks really good.
Yeah. No, I think you kind of summed it up perfectly. But like you mentioned, right, there is now a bit of an open spot for medium, and we're already starting to see it. And we're even seeing, I think someone that doesn't see this game a lot, right? Everything in this game revolves around the heavy.
Yeah.
everything. So whatever's going on with the heavy will dictate the rest of the meta on the other classes. And now that there's two of them, they're having an even more noticeable, influence. With that, we're seeing medium start to run APS turret because it can block domes, RPGs, which are now doubled up on. We have light, weirdly enough, running the 93R. Even though the Arn is kind of a really good option, but because the Arn isn't good against heavies, it's good against lights. If there's no lights in the game, well, you kind of need something that melts heavies, and what does that more than anything else is the 93R. Now, you could mention, the M11, right? Yeah, the M11's great for dealing with heavies. If there's one of them, you want to dash into two heavies? When one of them's running mesh and another one's running winch? Probably not. So, those are the kind of things you got to think about. So we're already seeing that as they're running the 93R because we need that. We're seeing other heavies run the M60 and Lewis because they need the shield damage.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things that we're watching, is that everything that's going on with heavy is naturally just influencing the rest of the meta. And that's what I'm interested to see. And something that I think is a great example of showing how intricate that this game is that something so little can have so much influence everywhere.
Yeah.
We literally saw, a slight nerf to the V9S. And a slight buff, and it became the most OP thing, to now, it's not really that great, but it's still good, but now it's double heavy, so even though it's really good, it's still not worth using anymore, and all this and that, and it's very interesting to see not only how just balanced this game is, and to an extent where the smallest change can have such major influences. And that's something I love about this game. It's so intricate. There's so many layers.
Yeah.
The question is, Sam, though, we're seeing what's happening now, but what do we think is going to happen in the future? Do you think, the double heavy will slowly eat up whatever hope there is left for the light medium heavy? Do we think that light medium heavy will prevail and find a solution, and maybe it's just a little crazy? Everyone's tired of the same old slop. Let me go try something new and realize they missed the old slop.
Yeah.
What are we seeing?
I think you brought up a point that this game's meta is so fragile. Like, 1 point of range damage or true damage or like a couple meters of damage fall off or something, changes everything. Like the V9S, like you said, came out in season 9, ambitious. They were like, we're increasing the range and we're increasing the damage. It's like, okay, all right, we backed off the damage, but the range is still there. Everybody's like, it's broken. All right, we backed off the range now. All right, now we're not using it all. 93R. That is crazy. I cannot believe we didn't see one of them today in Breakout's show match. That was genuinely a surprise to me. I thought I'd at least see people trying to run it, and I was shocked to see 93R. You and I were sitting there as well. We're like, why not M11? M11's good at shredding, heavies, but to your, then we were like, oh yeah, you can't get up close to them because there's two of them, right? I have the feeling. And now, chat, or if you're listening to this, and you may have to let me know because I don't actually know this. So weapons have their damage, right? But they also actually have environment damage, to my understanding, where they do X amount of damage to certain structures, environments, whatever, like shooting zip lines. BFR used to one shot them, now at 2 shots them, I think, or something. Repeater used to be 8 shots, and now it's 4 or whatever. That stat is what I'm talking about, not the true damage that you do to somebody's body when you shoot them, but the stat of shooting structures or the environment. Does the environment also count for shields? That's what I want to know. And if you know that answer, let me know down in the comments, or let us know, in Twitch chat, or if you're watching live or whatever. If you know that answer, I'm curious to know. It'd be something nice to know if Embark could release that information. Or if it doesn't currently, it should, because like you said, how do you punch through the shields? We were talking about it, interesting to see medium still on repeater. They can't really shoot anything because they're shooting at shields, but what's your other option? I think the repeater does the most damage to the shields. So at that point, it's the heavy's job now with a Lewis gun or an M60 or a minigun, I guess, to shred shields. it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's something that hasn't been thought of yet.
I would be interested. You know, it seems like, which a lot of people want to happen, which is fine. I'm not against it. A lot of people want grenades to all be one charge.
Mm-hmm.
With that though, there is now a very obvious gap,
Right,
from the lack of glitch.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 3 potential options. One of them is do nothing, which is an option. Another one is add a gadget that can do something to a different class. You know, prioritize what we've been doing for the past 2 seasons, which is give every class a way to do something that every class can. Like every class has an answer. Might not be the best answer, but it's an answer. You know, for example, the healing emitter, H+, heal beam. Those are all answers to healing. Might not be the best ones, but yeah. The other option I could be interested to see explored is increasing or adding weapons that do damage to shields. Like that is their thing.
Yeah.
They are just good at it. You could make it so maybe high rate of fire weapons do a lot of damage to shields. They don't do a lot of, they don't do a lot of damage, right? That might be a good trade-off. Maybe you make the P90 a shield breaker. Okay.
Yeah.
Might be interesting.
True. Yeah.
You could go the other route, that the hard hitters are what do damage to the shield. But at the same time, right, the hard hitters are what's doing a lot of damage to the person. So do you want the repeater to do a lot of shield damage and a lot of damage? Probably not.
Yeah.
So I think the option is, maybe going for those like quick hitting, which now you might not like this, brings light into the conversation in a more high effort way. Instead of just throwing a grenade that has an AoE that disables everything, it's now I need the light to go in and break the shield.
Yep.
That could be an interesting mechanic, because now it's giving the light another job.
Yeah.
I could be interested with that.
I could be curious on that.
You could
as
also,
well.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can make the medium the shield breaker. I think that'd be great. Medium needs another role. It is so support heavy, and while that is still support coded, it's a lot more active. And I think that could be a fun way of incorporating medium.
I think it's kind of no question right now that, especially in the pro scene, nobody really loves to play medium besides the select handful.
You play medium because you have to.
Yeah, but like I think it's kind of the general consensus just from talking with people that like most people don't really want to play medium. Like even medium players love to kind of wish they were playing heavy, apparently, just from what I've heard. And
Right.
I agree. I think medium right now feels like a place where I need a reason to shoot my gun. We've played with people and they've, said like you're not doing enough damage on medium, but at the same time you have like a ridiculous amount of support, score, and assists. And it's like, I mean, do I shoot my gun or do I keep the guys who do more damage alive? Like, I need a reason to shoot it other than just helping, I guess, damage something that's just getting healed back up, One thing that I also would be curious about, right, is, I guess the philosophy right now from people is like, yeah, every grenade should have one charge, which is fair. What if they just, like, did that, but the time, like, you glitch somebody, that amount of time is increased for how long they're glitched? So that, like, while your cooldown's coming back, at least they're still glitched. Because I think that's the problem, is it's like you can glitch one person, but by the time your cooldown's back, they're unglitched and kind of like negated itself. And when you have double heavy, you're not getting value unless you glitch both.
So, okay. I think that's interesting. I worry that starts a cascade of things where it slows the game down.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've seen it before where like the BFR came out. I mean, go watch APAC on Monaco, man. You know what we're talking about, okay? The game gets real slow. And okay? And now look, I'm a young man, but I ain't got all day. Okay?
Go use the bathroom or something while
okay?
that's going
I've
on.
watched an FYR KCP game, okay? I ain't got all day. Okay?
That is true, yeah.
All right. I like my finals game like my TikToks. I like it quick.
Yep.
Okay. I'm okay to slow down a little bit, but yeah, I worry that we go into this, approach where it's, okay, I get glitched. Now I'm out of the fight for 20 seconds. And now we're just resetting again. So I would be, I think, you've brought up a good conversation because I've brought it up. I'm like, dude, I'm a light. This isn't cool. Why are all my cool goodies and gadgets getting nerfed? And you're like, well, it's post-major, things are a little stagnant. Let's try to, make some interesting nerfs and buffs and see what comes of it. It's time to experiment, and then we'll kind of reel things in, maybe a little bit later into like half the year or whatever. So with that, I think it's fine. Let's try it. I'm a big believer in, those crazy ideas will always, be crazy until you try them. So let's get it out the way at least,
Yeah.
We can try it. If it sucks and we're like, all right, we tried it, it sucks. And then that person that had the idea, moves on to their next crazy idea. So I think it's good to try it. And I don't know. I just would worry it slows down the game. But I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right that like increasing the amount of time you're glitched from a glitch grenade
Nobody
probably
likes getting CC.
Yeah, that too. Nobody likes being CC. That is true. Which is probably one of the reasons that they got rid of one of the charges in the first place, I guess, because it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things, right? Like the pros even said, the medium players even were like, "Oh, I'm glitched. I don't get to play the game. Sorry, you got to sit back and wait for that to wear off, And yeah, if you're glitched even longer, then it's pretty brutal. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to see environment, if it's not already, environmental damage on weapons count towards shields, and like
that.
You said, go towards a shield break meta.
Mm-hmm.
And choose what guns do that more efficiently than others. Because, like, I don't think anybody wants to see double medium and one of them's running minigun. Let's be honest. That's got to be brutal to watch. That's like Overwatch back in the day, and double shield, and everybody just ran Bastion. Because it was like, all right, forget the shields. It was Bastion, Hanzo, and Hanzo would go Storm Arrow, right? Like, that was what you did.
Yep.
And it was like, all right, we broke their shields, now we win the fight. It was like whoever did that first, or farmed ult charge, right? And I don't want to see that, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird spot right now. I don't know if I'm really a fan as well. It does also slow down the gameplay. It is, once again, you're watching somebody with a BFR now stand behind a mesh shield and shoot at people, which if you thought it was bad on Monaco with APAC when they were doing it.
Especially in cash out, right? Where we're getting to the point where these teams are so smart and so like calculated that they're sometimes almost scared to approach because that's the only option, right? Like we saw it on that Fangway map in Breakout. Like Slothy and Varian were just sitting on the mesh with all their stuff just shooting, and we're like, okay, yeah, and your night, or I don't remember what team it was.
Nightmare.
Yeah, and it's like you're this team, and it's like, what do you do to approach? Like, and we're like, okay, well, you can set a gate and like loop around behind and like do this and that, and it's like you could do that, and that's probably a great play, but at the same time, like if you're calculating risk, pretty fucking risky. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, even at the end, it was like we were again on final way because that was all the final round matches, and it was Jaggers against Tall, Dark, and Handsome. Jaggers being the previous Fire Stray squad. Yeah, okay, so Stooge got out right towards the end, right? There was probably 25 seconds left on cash out timer or something like that. They left and waited for the team to coin back in. They had time, but like we were sitting there, we're like, normally last season there would be time here for a quick push. Maybe it'd be a desperate play, but it could happen. This time though, because you had Jaggers on double heavy and it's inside the server room, I think is where the cash out was. It's like this is just GG's. It's chalk. This last 15 seconds don't matter. Like you cannot break through. There's not enough DPS to kill everybody that fast and get the steal. It's just not possible with the double heavy unless pretty much Jaggers throw.
So I think we've talked this out. We're getting close to our end time. So I want to bring up something fun that we can look back to at the later in the year.
Okay.
We're going to make some predictions.
All right.
Okay. Let's start with what do you think will be like the biggest like meta? What do you think will like to be the big thing that is changing for this year?
For the
Take a
year
guess.
or for like
Yeah.
when? Because season 10
Just
will
the
happen,
finals.
right?
Like as the finals go through, what do you think we'll see at the major? Like what will be the meta?
I
the
don't think
defining
you'll
meta?
see double heavy. I'm
Okay.
a strong believer that people get tired really quick of it and something will change and it won't be the meta anymore. I don't know what that change is going to be.
Make a guess though. We're predicting. Just throw
They
something
might
out.
just revert the glitch charge. I'm gonna be honest. Like, because I don't know. I don't know how you fix it without
That's spicy. That's a spicy
without
take.
a shield break. I people, what do you do?
There you go.
Like
That's what I was fishing for.
yeah,
I was fishing for a
yeah.
spicy take.
I feel
Okay,
like
so you predict.
I
Hold on. You predict that they
Yeah.
will some way somehow
Mhm.
revert the glitch nerf. Okay.
sure.
Alright.
That's
All right,
what you got.
Now
out of
let's
that?
move
Yeah.
on
Okay.
to the next prediction.
Okay.
Who do you think will be the nightmare of this year?
Without knowing any of the other teams, going off of what I know right now,
Who do you think will perform the best?
the new NV roster.
Okay.
I
Do you think this team will win the major?
yeah, at least on
Okay.
paper, yeah, I think so.
All right. Okay.
I think so. I just
All right.
like I want to even say the 5 Fears roster. That's my second guess. But to be honest with you, just the EU versus NA track record just isn't there. I'm sorry. It's like 0-3, something like that. 0-4 now since PHL started in season 0, something like that. Like
Yeah.
I cannot mathematically
Okay.
take that. I gotta go with the
All
new
right.
NV squad.
Next prediction.
Okay.
What do you think we will get in the next seasons? What do you think will be the big, like the hard hitters? What do you think we'll get? Do you think it'll be the new gadgets? Maybe we'll see a new class.
I think
a
Heavy gets
shooting
away to
class?
glitch.
Heavy gets.
I
away
think
to
Heavy
glitch.
gets away to glitch. It's time.
Okay.
It's time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Heavy gets away to
I think
glitch.
they
Okay.
finally get my idea of the EMP rocket launcher where you shoot it and after a couple seconds it detonates in a room and just sends shockwaves that EMPs everything. I
Okay.
want it so bad. We're probably not getting that, but I want it so bad. I think it'd be so sick.
Okay. All right. So for the final prediction.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna look at the camera. Sam, do you think we will cast the major?
I'm banking on it. I'm doing everything in my power to either cast, player interview, live watch party, or something. But I am not sitting in the crowd unless I have to, which I'll do. But I'm doing my damn hardest not to. I want to be involved. Yeah.
Gotcha. I think so too. I think we'll cast every major. I think it's gonna be so good they're gonna do like 5 majors back to back.
Yeah.
And be like, Cody, you just keep showing up. You're so good at this.
Yeah.
You're so good. Goddamn, you're the best white boy to ever do it.
Yep.
There's too many of you, but damn, you're good.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
So, okay. Well, that's
All right. So
okay.
let's run it back.
Well,
So I don't have the list in
Okay.
front of me of your questions, but
I don't either.
oh shit. You didn't write them down? What did you write down?
No.
Did you
it's
write down
just
my predictions?
Nothing. I haven't wrote down anything.
Oh my god.
I've just been.
Okay, all
That's how
right,
good I
well-
am at casting.
well-
See how I've been doing this off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Well, all right. So who do you think, out of what we know, takes it home this year? Takes home the major. Who do you think?
I think Slothy Varian.
It's a good choice.
And I'm trying to remember.
There's no way.
T-Mills, sorry.
There's no
My brain,
way.
It's the hard way. I took the hard way. I think Slothy Varian and T-Mills.
Okay.
I want them to persevere. I think they're such an incredible team, and they are so capable, so much. And I love my boy Slothy so much. And I want them to take it on. Okay. I want. What is my big change? What is my
What is your change that you
greatest, biggest
think we're getting?
I want more specializations. God damn it!
True.
Please.
Hey, the EMP rocket
Please
launcher
just give me one
could
more.
be his pack.
Please just give me one more. Just one more specialization on each class.
EMP rocket launcher.
Heavy doesn't need one. I didn't get a weapon this season. Can we just get a new specialization on light, please? Please. Okay. All right. With that, I want a defib nerf. I want to see it happen.
Another one?
Sure. I don't know. I want it to just not be usable anymore. I want to see what happens after that. I want to see what happens when defib isn't usable.
It just goes double heavy light.
Probably.
Probably.
That's
In
it.
all honesty, probably. Well, that was like Ikazo was in our chat, right? And he said, he's like, I think people are sleeping on double heavy light and cash out. And I was like, honestly, if there's a mode where I'm giving up defib, it's gonna be cash out because of defender coin. Double heavy, I mean, if you get the flip on the box or a plug and you protect it, like,
Yeah.
I've been saying that I think defender coin's a busted mechanic. 10 seconds to get back, and I spawn somewhat close, typically somewhat close to the objective I already control. Like, bro, you know how hard I gotta kill somebody twice basically to steal or wipe. I have to fully wipe them, or I gotta kill them twice. It's like the zombie horde coming at me, especially when you got pad gate,
They should
double movement on medium potentially. Like, there's
they should add if you wipe another one, it extends their timer. I don't know why that doesn't exist.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, kind of like in what the casual modes do that, right? Like you kill somebody, resets it to
Ton of
7 or
games
something
do
like
that.
that.
Ton of games have added that.
No, I know, but even
after.
in the finals, I think the casual modes, it's like if somebody is below 7 seconds or 10 seconds on their timer, and then you like somebody gets a kill on your teammate and you're on that timer, you get reset back to 10, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think that team will win the major and take it home. I want them to nerf defib as my big change. I want to see specializations come to play. And I too think we'll cast the majors.
All right.
So
All right.
that is, I think, a wrap on the first pod of January.
Yeah.
The first January of 2026. And the last one. It's a damn shame. Isn't more. But it's a new year.
You want to repeat? You want the 3
I don't know, it'd just be
Januaries
cool.
of 2026?
Like,
It's been a good month.
It could be called like like I don't know, like third-uary or something.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Anyways, so yeah, I mean it is 2026. I just want to wrap this pod up and I'll let you say your thing, Sam. That I am so thankful to everyone and anyone that I've met in this 10, 11 months now. I don't know. Like, not to get sappy, but like if people have seen previous pod episodes, man, it's probably one of the hardest years of my life. And
Yeah.
it was a hell of a lot easier because of the people I've met and I continue to meet and continue to be around. And this community is a incredible light in a rough place, man. It is crazy.
Yeah.
But regardless, I have so much love to give for this community and the people that I've met and the people I'm around. And thank you for sticking along.
Yep. Yeah, well said. Same here. I mean, yeah, 2025 was not one for the books, I'll tell you that. It might be in the book of bads, but not a good year. But being in the finals community, seeing, like, just taking on this journey with one of my best friends and just making progress, meeting all these people, going to Sweden, and like it all just finally coming together. Like, I still tell my family, and you know, like I went through a breakup and that was because of gaming apparently, and it was like I wish they could have been in Sweden to see like what it's all for. You know what I mean? Like, it all came together there and you're like, this is why we do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, 2026, big year. We have a lot of things that we put behind us, and we got a lot of things to look forward to. I think we finally have found our rhythm in the scene. I think we know, I mean, there's stuff that we're going to continue to find, right? That we're good at, or callings or things like that. But, you know, our space has gone towards the esports side and helping just grow the esports of this game. And, you know, we're now already, we did the Point Break tournament earlier this year already a big one under about 128 players. Insane. We did that. We've got, I mean, Breakout just happened. We, you know, watch party that. We got PHL coming up. That sounds like we'll be doing the B streams for that, which is hype. You're doing heist games this weekend on Saturday or Sunday. What day is it? It's one of them. Saturday. Okay. So tune into heist games on Saturday to catch Cody casting alongside Tetra. It's gonna be an awesome show. I don't know what time it starts off the top of my head.
And hold on, the duo's back. The duo's back. It's
Oh,
confirmed.
you're so right. Wait, you're
duo's
so
back.
right.
The
Oh my
duo's
God,
back.
you're so right. Wait, we are so back.
excited.
Oh, we are so back.
I got robbed in the Point Break tourney. I
We
got
are
robbed.
so back. Cody and I are on the casting desk together. It is a TFC takeover happening at the Luck Cup number 3 on Sunday. We are bringing the tournament home. We will be picking up, I think, like the back half, doing grand finals.
Dude, the energy's gonna be
Dude,
so electric.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
ready.
gonna be electric.
It's
I'll
gonna
tell
be
you what.
electric.
Yeah, I'm gonna be off like 4 Celsius and a couple cups of coffee. It's gonna be sick.
Dude,
I might get a
take,
noise
like,
complaint.
I'll tell Starbucks to give me like 20 espressos.
It's gonna be electric.
I'll be wild. I'll
So
be shaking.
yeah, it's gonna be an awesome time. It's actually our first time being on like the PHL mainstream as well, and I'm excited to see how they run things.
Hey, look, Ma, I made it.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah, I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to be like, Ma, I made the PHL mainstream.
Nah, it's gonna be awesome. And yeah, we have so much other things going on. We've already like received a call earlier today about another tournament that we'll be helping out with. No leakies here, but it's gonna be very cool. And we'll have details as soon as we do. And we're finally consistent with the pod. Here we are. I've said it. It's only 1 episode in, but I feel good this time. I feel good this time. I feel this is the run. This is the run. We're gonna be consistent this time. No, like again, I'm live Monday through Friday on Twitch. Come hang out, yap with your boy, watch me tilt at some ranked. I'm another human and not a good way over
He's
there.
playing with me. He will.
God, yeah. But I did do a cool stream last night, actually, like editing our most recent video we just uploaded and like working on overlays. And so we're kind of doing like a lot more behind the scenes and things like that. So if that interests you, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TFC_Sam. Sorry, a lot of symbols. There you go. Link will be in the description as well if you're listening on Spotify and on YouTube. Speaking of which, yet again, we're already over time. This podcast is live on Spotify. If you want to have the audio only version while you're at the gym, you're making your coffee, you're in the office, you're doing whatever that you're doing, check us out Around the Arena over on Spotify. All right, everybody, that's it. That's a wrap on episode 1 of the 2026 Around the Arena. We'll catch you guys next week. See you later. Bye-bye.